Is the Premier League broke? Why have there been no signings? Welcome to TFN. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well and welcome to the video. In this video, we're going to break down and explain why this transfer market has been so dead, and does it have anything to do with the lack of money that all the Premier League clubs seem to have currently. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to TFN if you are new here, and don't forget to download SofaScore, completely free, best football app on the market. The link for it is in the comments. All right, let's jump into this because this has been a dead transfer market. There's no two ways about it. If we compare the last window, as in January last year, £780 million were already spent by the Premier League clubs. And if we look at it this season, only 34.6 million has been spent. And most of that has been spent by the tightest of the tight, Daniel Levy at Tottenham. But the real question is why? What's triggering this lack of spending? Is it FFP? Is it PSR? Are all clubs really that tight on the balance? Or have the owners just suddenly become so tight-fisted that they won't spend a penny? And it's a mixture of a lot of things. Obviously, FFP has its own say in it, and clubs have to work in with it within the regulations that are set by the Premier League. But the big factor and the main difference from this window to the last one is the Saudi League. Now, in the summer, we saw a massive splashing of players jumping across to Saudi, getting paid in their millions, clubs making loads of money for sometimes some quite crap players. But what's happened is the Saudi League hasn't taken off as much as was expected. So players who have gone there are now coming back. For example, we recently showed you and did a video on Jordan Henderson jumping ship at the earliest possible opportunity. There's talk that Benzema, who himself comes from Arab descent, doesn't want to be there anymore, and there's rumors that he might be moving. And this has had a knock-on impact onto the rest of the European football leagues, if you like. And in particular, we're going to focus on the Premier League, because what that was doing was creating a revenue stream. People were selling off 50 million for Neves from Wolves. They could then use that money, reinvest it into players, or clear their debts in Wolves' case and keep them away from the dreaded FFP. But as players are no longer, or it seems no longer, attracted to the Saudi League, then these clubs have to do business between themselves now, back to the good old days. And that's causing the problem because everyone is too scared to jump first at the moment. And on top of that, if we focus specifically on the Premier League, what you are seeing is there's a bit of arrogance, a little bit, because they're looking at the ones who came up, your Lutons, your Sheffields, and your Burnleys, and they're thinking, do we really need to spend that much, especially if you're a lower half team, to stay ahead of those three? And the answer, as you can see currently, is no, we don't need to. So that's one element to it. The other element is AFCON and the Asian Cup. If we take Guirassy as the example, Guirassy, who has been probably the hottest striker in European football this season so far, scoring a bag load of goals in the Bundesliga, with a release fee clause that was rumoured to be £15 million, about 17 million euros, which expired about a week ago. And yet no club pulled the trigger on that one. 15 million for a goal scorer these days is an absolute bargain. And I was surprised to see that not happen. And you had the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United, Forest interested in him, quite a host of different clubs there. Yet no one pulled the trigger. Why? Because he wouldn't be available till potentially mid-February as the AFCON finishes. So that in itself has had a further knock-on impact. Now, as we get into the final week of this transfer window, are we going to continue to see this lull from the Premier League clubs? The answer is probably going to be no, because it's going to take one major signing to domino effect everything else into play. We're seeing so many loan deals going through with options to buy. I call it, the try before you buy kind of thing, before you commit. I think we're going to see a lot more of those. But those clubs that maybe have Champions League ambitions, if you look at potentially Newcastle, who are trying to offload some players again to the Saudi League, and then trying to use that money to reinvest in players that can help them push again towards those top 4 places. You got Chelsea, who need a new number 9. Same with Arsenal. I think we're going to see some of these more wealthier clubs having to pull the trigger. Otherwise, they will end up compromising their season and what's going to happen over the next 4 to 6 months in the Premier League. So I expect a late flurry, but I expect more low knees. But if one big signing gets pulled off, if someone can generate themselves some big cash, that will cause that domino effect into them then buying some players. The players they buy from the clubs they've bought it from can then use that money to reinvest themselves, and then we'll see a bit more excitement. But as things currently stand, it's going to be probably one of the biggest loan transfer windows we've seen in football history, especially in the Premier League. What do you guys think about all this? Are you getting frustrated with the lack of spending from your club? Can you see the positions that your club needs to strengthen on? Let me know down below. If you had one dream signing realistically for your club this transfer window, who would it be and how much would you pay for them? If you enjoyed the video and you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to TFN, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good day.